Welcome to SouthWings tutorial on geotagging images from your flight. If you're about to get up in the air with one of our pilots, you may be wondering how you'll remember where you took all your photos once you get back on the ground. In the next few minutes, I'll walk you through a few methods for entering location information into your image files so you don't have to worry about recording any of that data while you enjoy your flight. Geotagging allows you to tag a photo with data about where you were when you took it. Specifically, it works by entering the latitude and longitude of that location into the metadata of your image file. That means that when you open an image file on your computer and look at its properties, you'll be able to see the latitude and longitude and enter that information onto a map. This can be helpful for tracking locations of sites that you surveyed, so you can use those images for reporting or analysis. The first step to geotag images from your flight is to make sure you have the right equipment. Some new cameras have geotagging features built into their hardware, so the latitude and longitude are already included in the file's properties when you take a photo. If you aren't sure whether your camera does this by default, check the user manual to see whether it has this built-in feature. There are also adapters that you can purchase that will do this for you that work with many DSLR cameras, like this one from Merix, which one of our partners recommends. For most cameras, though, you'll have to enter location information yourself. If your camera doesn't have an internal GPS system, and you aren't using an adapter that connects to your camera, you'll need two devices, the camera and a separate GPS unit. You'll need to record the whole route of your flight with a GPS unit to be able to go back later and match your photos to the locations along that route where you took them. All you need to do is make sure that the time set on your GPS device and the time set on your camera match. And you can synchronize the data based on the time that each photo was taken and where on your route you were at that particular time. You may need to adjust your device's settings to do this properly. Be careful to note the time zone that your device uses, as some GPS systems use universal time, which will differ from local time. If you don't have a handheld GPS device for this purpose, a smartphone can usually do a pretty good job of tracking your location as well. There are a few things to know, however, about using a phone as your GPS tracker. One issue is that cell phones tend to be less accurate than GPS units, though they usually are able to place you within 30 feet of your actual location. Cell phones also sometimes link their GPS features with the SIM card that connects to your network. On some iPhones, for instance, you can't use the GPS features while you're in airplane mode, so you can't disable calling features if you want to record GPS track. This can drain the battery quickly, since cell signals are weak at altitude, and your battery may have a shorter life while searching for signals. So consider using an external battery if you'll have a longer flight. Similarly, without a reliable signal, your phone can't download maps to use to track your route. Google Maps, for instance, updates the map every time you zoom in or out, so it's not reliable in the air. You'll have to download a map in advance of your flight that will not try to update while you're in the air. So if you prefer to use a smartphone rather than a GPS unit, you'll need an app that can download maps and record your route. There are many apps out there, some are free and others paid, that can do this, but the one I prefer to use is called Gaia GPS. You can easily download maps at different resolutions, record your route, and mark waypoints for places of interest along the route. AllTrails and MapMyTracks are two other good free options for recording GPS tracks. Once you have the right equipment, you should test it on the ground and make sure you understand how it works before your flight. Practice recording routes and using your devices without a cell signal to ensure that they'll work in the air. Also keep in mind that sometimes despite your best preparation, things don't go as planned. It's best to have more than one system ready in case something malfunctions while you're in the air. For instance, by having a GPS adapter for your camera and also recording a route on a GPS device. Once you've got your equipment, are comfortable using it, and have the time settings synced between devices, you're ready to go out and enjoy your flight. Start recording your GPS track before you take off, and you can snap photos without having to worry about tracking your movements as you go. Once you're back on the ground, you'll have everything you need to geotag your photos. You'll need to import the photos and your GPS track onto your computer to finish the process so you can actually geotag them. There are lots of software products that can do this, but I recommend using a product called gPic Sync, which is available for free on Windows, Mac, and Linux. You can download it from github.com, which is a site that hosts open source software. Download the program, then install and open it. All you need to input to run the program is a folder with all the photos from your flight and a GPS track, typically a file that ends in GPX. You specify where those files are stored on your computer, check that the time zone is correct, and if you'd like, you can also specify the altitude. Then synchronize the data. Once the program has completed its run, the images in that folder will have latitude and longitude in their properties. The program also connects to Google Earth, so you can open the track and see the geotagged images along the route by opening the KML file that's created in the folder. If you look in Google Earth, you can see where you flew and where your photos were shot. Now you can go ahead and use this information to remember where you flew and what sites your photos show, so you can use them for any future reporting or analysis. I hope this video tutorial helped you to make the most of your SouthWings experience, and we hope you have a safe and productive flight.